Okay, what's up, guys? We're working on some stuff today. It's going to involve this. It's going to involve moving everything, all the vehicles I own except for the Talon, and yeah, I got to get some stuff organized and moved around. So I'm going to move the camera, try to set it up, and we're going to do some time lapse today.
All right, so I had to pull the Camaro out first, and then I went ahead and pulled the truck in, and that had the axle in the back of it. So, it took a little bit to get unloaded, and it was a little bit unwieldy and heavy because it just is. So, pulled out the cherry picker and went to town.
Okay, cool. Now that done, I've got an axle in here. So this axle, let me actually pull this camera up. So here's the axle. This is a two-wheel drive axle. You can see it's got no pumpkin. It would be right there normally, but it's completely and entirely gone. So awesome guy, about a little over an hour away from me, had a two-wheel drive axle. So I went up this week, picked it up. Probably don't have any video of that. That's okay. Thank you, Josh. You know who you are. So yeah, picked this up. Got it home. It's been sitting in the back of the truck, and as you can see, I just unloaded it, and I'm gonna tear this down today. Basically what I'm gonna do, I think we're gonna remove everything. I just want the bare axle, and then I can go ahead and clean that up. But until I get that axle out, like, I'm gonna take the wheels, all the brake stuff, the hubs, the knuckles, everything off. I got all new parts for this. Not all of them are here, but some of them came. I got shit at ball joints, tie rod ends, all the steering gear, all that stuff. So yeah, we are just gonna go to town on this thing. So back to time lapse.
So this was actually one of the first major projects that I took on for the Jeep, and it was pretty interesting. Every single bolt on this thing was almost seized, so I had to go through and really break out the air gun, the impact, and sledgehammer and pry bar and all sorts of stuff to get this stuff apart. But just working at it, being pretty persistent, I was able to get everything that I needed to off the front axle. And the good news was all this stuff was available new, so I was able to actually go through and just buy a bunch of new parts for this. So the only thing that I didn't replace was the axle itself and then the knuckles. Everything else on this got swapped out for new parts.
Okay, good time to pause, show you my progress here. Yeah, we're basically down to the knuckles and then the axle itself. I'm gonna go ahead and pop the ball joints here on both sides, get the knuckles off so that I can actually get those really well cleaned up. I'm hoping I can borrow a sandblasting cabinet for those. And then the rest of this thing, I think I gotta take an angle grinder to it. Just go to town, see what happens. It's a lot lighter without all this stuff on it, like, wheels and tires, the front steering gear. Those disc brakes are junk. The wheel bearings, as you can see, that one might be usable. This one has suffered a serious injury on its way out, and I honestly thought this was gonna come out better than it did. But yeah, as you probably saw in the time lapse, yeah, I screwed that one up. That's okay. I bought new wheel bearings. I was not going to use these anyway. I have no idea how old they are. I mean, that one's got a little bit of dirt in it now, so certainly wouldn't want to reuse that. So anyway, that's the wheel bearing. Also, pro tip for you nieces and nephews out there, don't ask bolts to come out. Just look them sternly in the eye, tell them you are coming out today, and take them out, because otherwise they'll stay where they are. They don't want to come, especially something like this. It's, as you can see, it's a little crusty. There's some crunchiness here and there. So yeah, I don't know how many miles are on this thing, and the reality is it doesn't really matter how many miles are on this thing, because it definitely needs to be taken apart, cleaned up, and then put back together. The only thing I'm keeping is what you see here. Everything else is going to be new. Oh, I take that back. I've got to take the bushings, that bushing out, and then there's a bushing over here. I got to take those out. Those are also coming out, and then the ball joints will be swapped. But basically, the axle and then the knuckles, those are what's staying. Everything else is going. And hopefully a lot of this rust and dirt. You can see it's a little crusty. I did what I could at the local car wash to try to get rid of all this stuff when I picked it up. Went straight to the car wash. Sunk a bunch of quarters in and just went to town. But as you can see, there's still a little bit of dirt and crunchiness and whatever, so definitely needs to be cleaned up. So that's what's next up. I gotta get these knuckles off. I'm gonna work on those next. I'll go back to time lapse, work on getting the rest of this apart. And then you'll probably see me put up some tarp, like hang it and try to contain this mess in a smaller area in my garage so it's easier for me to clean up when I'm done. So that's the plan. Going back to time lapse.
I haven't talked about this yet on the channel, but I'm using a music service to generate some music just to have something in the background. So hope you enjoy this. It should be kind of amusing.
I'm not sure if you can see it or not. It is hazy in the entire garage, and it's probably going to take a good half an hour for this to settle down a little bit. I put this up. It doesn't seem to have mattered. It mattered a bit. Look, there's all sorts of crap. Anyway, I'm going to clean up a little bit more. That's about all I can do with an angle grinder. And then get this mask off. But yeah, that's where we're at. Today's episode is brought to you by PPE. That's right, this thing. And those things that I don't have on, and these things that I also don't have on. Just wear it. Just wear it. You got one set of eyeballs. You got one eyeball. You got two eyeballs. You can buy... Listen, if you buy eyeballs, please see a doctor. Like a psychologist. You don't need to buy eyeballs. But you can't use them even if you buy... I'm just digging a hole.